Welcome to Randall's Retro Rewind, where retro games are reviewed from the gamer and the non-gamer perspective. In this video, we are going to review Super Monkey Ball for the Nintendo GameCube. This is a party game that was developed by Amusement Vision and published by Sega. The game was first released on June 23, 2001 on the Sega Naomi hardware for arcade and was named Monkey Ball. It was later ported to the US for the Nintendo GameCube as Super Monkey Ball later that year on November 18th. This game was a launch title for the GameCube and was Sega's first video game published for a Nintendo console. This was a game that I played in high school with my brothers and friends. Since there were so many of us playing together, I only ever played the party games growing up. So this was my first exposure to the main game. After Corri and I got married, I stumbled across a copy of Super Monkey Ball and busted out my GameCube to introduce her and our older daughters to the game. Corri remembers playing the game, but sadly, my daughters do not remember playing the game at all. I'm not a failure as a video game father, you are. Before we jump into the review, I want to point out how much product placement is in this game with the use of the Dole logo. This is because there was a collaboration done between Super Monkey Ball and Dole. This collaboration appears in Monkey Ball, Super Monkey Ball, and Super Monkey Ball 2, but the Dole logo is removed from all other installments of this franchise after 2. Disclaimer: before watching this video, you may want to have a banana or two handy to succumb to the not-so-subliminal messaging within the game. With all jesting aside, let's jump into the review of this game. The gameplay of this game seems straightforward for a gamer geek like me. There are 3 modes to play: main game, party game, and mini games. You can play up to 4 players in all modes. The main game has 3 modes to choose from: normal, practice, and competition. Normal is an upgraded port of the arcade game. I use the term upgraded very loosely here. You can play with 1 to 4 players, and you take turns through various floors that increase in difficulty the higher you get. There are 3 difficulty levels to choose from: beginner, which has 10 stages to play, advanced with 30, and expert with 50. We will not play any difficulty greater than beginner because it was hard enough for the 2 of us. Practice mode is where the players can practice any floor that has already been played. You are not able to go practice levels that have not been attempted yet. Competition mode is where instead of taking turns on each floor, 2 to 4 players tackle the same floor at the same time, with the screen being split to accommodate all of the players. Party games, there are 3 games to choose from: Monkey Race, Monkey Fight, and Monkey Target. Monkey Target is the party game that I introduced Corri and our girls to, but I did play Monkey Fight with my brothers and friends in high school. I know I played Monkey Race, but not very much, because I didn't find it as fun as the other party games. Monkey Race has 3 versions within it. You have 1 course race, Grand Prix, and timed attack. 1 course race is where 1 to 4 players race through one of the 6 courses that is divided into different difficulties. Grand Prix is where 1 to 4 players race through multiple courses to earn a cumulative score to strive for first place. Timed attack is where a single player races against themselves in the hopes of getting a better time than their current best race. While racing, you can get power-ups to use that include boosts, a cube that skids the player to a stop, and what I'm coining as the bumpy ball, where the ball is no longer smooth and much harder to control. One thing I noticed is that this game promotes great sportsmanship. Just look at how the monkeys throw a pity party for themselves when they lose. Monkey Target is where 1 to 4 players, are you noticing a theme here? Compete for the highest score by rotating through 3 different courses of varying difficulty that each have 3 islands to choose from. Each player takes turns going down the ramp and trying to land on a point value. The players have to deal with wind speed and a roulette wheel that can add other traps, including clouds, bombs, and floating spike bombs. Nothing says fun for the whole family like explosives. You can also collect bananas to get power-ups. This portion of the game has a Gradius feel to me. These power-ups include 0 wind speed, friction ball to prevent the ball from rolling too much, times 2 points, magnet ball that stops the ball instantly on contact, and 3 times points. The last party game is Monkey Fight, where 1 to 4 players are pitted against each other on one of 3 stages. The players move around and attempt to knock their opponents off of the arena. Each player gets 3 lives, and the balls have a boxing glove attached to a spring. This is the weapon used to knock other players off. You can get power-ups from boxes that include Big, that makes the boxing glove large, which can be stacked upon each other to make it 3 times larger than its original size. The next one is Spin, that creates a massive vortex of fury around the player using it. Instead of punching straight on, you can hit others from the side, and if you hold the button down, it spins until you run out of the power-up. The last power-up is Long, that increases the length of the spring. All power-ups are stackable, which means one player could get all 3 and have a massive advantage over the others. But all power-ups have a timer, and you will eventually go back to the normal punching glove. There is a whole other section of games available that Corri and I were unable to access, and that is the minigame section. To get access to these games required them to be unlocked. The 3 minigames are Monkey Billiards, Monkey Bowling, and Monkey Gold. Each of them cost 2,500 play points to unlock. The only way you can get play points is by completing stages in single player, challenge, or story mode. This is not possible for Corri and I because we were emulating the game, and I did not figure out how to set up the emulator to save our data. On top of that, we were playing this together, so no play points were earned because we were playing 2-player. If you are interested in seeing what these 3 mini-games look like, check out Super Monkey Ball's channel. I've linked the playlist of the mini-games in the description of this video. Now for a rant. This game has one of the worst cameras I have experienced. This camera is not much of any use for the party games, but the main game, it moves too quickly and sits too close to the player that it can make an experienced gamer like me feel like I am inside a pinball machine, which is not a fun feeling at all. I know for Corri, she quit playing after she ran out of lives because it was making her feel sick to her stomach. The main game was not one that I had played much growing up, so I do not have the nostalgia for this mode of gameplay. Now as a higher level gamer, because I don't grow old, I level up. My eyes struggled with the stupid camera. It makes the camera system in Super Mario 64 seem like a breath of fresh air. There is no story to Super Monkey Ball in the American release version. However, there is a story in the Japanese version of the game. I did a little research, and according to the Super Monkey Ball wiki, Ai, Mimi, and Baby are living peacefully on Jungle Island, and one day Gon Gon, the leader of the gorillas, arrives and begins hoarding all of the bananas for himself. Ai escapes from Gon Gon and falls asleep. In his dreams, he is told that there is a magical banana island in the sky that the Grand Monkey made. In order to get to it, he has to go through traps and gimmicks. But the Grand Monkey taught Ai a magic spell, Poo. Yep, you heard it right. The monkey spell sounds like something a grown gamer like me says when straining in the bathroom for too long. He awakens from the dream, says these amazing poo-flinging words, and a big ball falls from the sky. He gets inside it and flies high above the sky. This poor monkey leaves his wife and child behind to a tyrannical gorilla so that he can find paradise up in the sky. What were the writers smoking when they wrote this? For this game, there are only 4 characters, as mentioned in the story: Ai, Mimi, Baby, and Gon Gon. There is nothing that makes these characters unique aside from their appearance. Neither character has an advantage over anyone. You would think that Baby would be faster and weaker, whereas Gon Gon would be slower and stronger, but that is not the case. They are all the same, just different in appearance. The music for the Monkey Target game has a very peaceful feel to it. It provides a feeling of soaring through the air. The music gets repetitive though, and it starts to wear out its welcome in my ears. The sound effects are a great distraction from the looping music. The music for Monkey Race is energetic and lively, and does a great job to put you in the mood for a race. However, the constant sound effects of the race almost make the music seem like a backup singer to the band. The music is the same no matter what course you play on, which is disappointing. I'm used to Mario Kart that has unique songs for every track. The track for Monkey Fight is comical. It communicates that this is not a party game to take seriously. The music within the main game is not something to write home about. For the first 5 levels, it sounds like some upbeat elevator music that is on a short loop. Like all of the music in the game, the tracks are short, but with the main game, they are uninspiring. For the last 5 levels, the music begins with a techno jig and moves into an attempt to be suspenseful and awe-inspiring, but it falls short. The music in the credits section does nothing for me. It's hard to hear it anyway, with the sound of the ball rolling, the bananas being collected, the cursed letters that the monkey collides into, and the sound of the monkey squealing with each hit. The graphics in this game have aged better than many games in this first attempt of 3D. I personally believe it is because the graphics are simple, and they also have very little joints in their models. The only joints are in the shoulder and the hips for the arms and legs to move, though the neck and ears twitch with the arms and legs when you collide with a bomb in Monkey Target, which is funny to watch. With the simplicity of the character design, it makes the graphics look decent. The colors used are simple, along with the graphics, yet the rippling water looks decent from a distance, but don't look at it too closely as more water appears on the screen, because then the patterning ripples are very apparent. The patterned raceways are a blur, but it is not hard on the eyes as you race. The floors on the first level of Monkey Fight looks like cheap hotel lobby carpet. The flooring of the second Monkey Fight level looks like the tiling of a ballerina's dressing room, while the third level looks like a futuristic coffee table designed for torturous chess and checker games. The details in the graphics are very little. The futuristic coffee table is a nice touch, and aside from shadow of the monkey balls and the levitating bananas, there is not much else aside from the solar flares when you face the right direction and the sun catches the ball. The obvious use of the Dole logo is simple and does not add much to the game, aside from my sudden desire to eat my weight in banana splits. This game definitely hit the nostalgia mark for me. My brothers and our friends used to play this game for many afternoons and evenings, but that didn't go beyond Monkey Target and Fight. There are many fond memories of this game, and I was excited to share it with my wife and daughters. Yet going into every aspect of the game pulled the veil from my eyes to see the game for what it truly was. Monkey Target and Monkey Fight are the best parts of the game. If you want a racing game, then pick Mario Kart instead, because it is leagues above Monkey Race. The main game is horrible to play and brings me awful memories of the tilting puzzle shrines in Legend of Zelda's Breath of the Wild. Only you are the freaking ball, and in some instances, you are in a world that looks like it is experiencing traumatic 8.0 earthquakes. The camera sensitivity is too extreme to make the arenas difficult to navigate in the main game. Sadly, this game has been knocked off of its pedestal from my childhood, with obnoxious music, sensitive camera, that makes Mario 64's Camera Lakitu seem like an expert videographer, and an end credit game that was more of a punishment than fun makes Super Monkey Ball for the GameCube get a 50 out of 100. I have not experienced any other Monkey Ball games outside of this one, so I am hoping that there is something more to look forward to with this franchise. But this game was not fun to play, outside of 2 party games. And with that, let's roll the ball over to Corri.
Welcome to Corri's Corner, a non-gamer's perspective on video games. So guys, I'm just gonna be real, the whole reason I wanted to call this Corri's Corner is because I like to sit in the corner in a comfy chair, drink coffee, read a book. I'm not the gamer. I'd rather sit across the table from you and have a cup of coffee with you and talk about this than talk to my phone. But here we are, so I'm going to tell you about it. We played Super Monkey Ball. I've played this before. We played it with our girls, our 2 older girls. And it was a lot of fun playing as a family. Playing with my husband was fun, but I much preferred playing with our girls. The little monkeys are cute. The games are okay. The mini games, rolling down this ramp, flying out to these islands, and the spinny thing that tells you what your obstacle is or lack thereof. The bombs are my least favorite. When the monkeys hit the bomb, they do this twitching seizure thing, and it's really sad and pathetic, and I don't like it. When you hit an obstacle, or the dial hits an obstacle, if there's any obstacle, the monkeys whine. That's annoying. I want to tell them just to grow up and not complain and just do it, but it's a game, so obviously I can't do that. The main game in Super Monkey Ball, the video angles, the controls are super sensitive. I didn't like it. I get really nauseous when things turn too fast in games. And so this one was really hard for me. I don't even remember how many rounds I went, and finally I said I'm done. I couldn't do it. I wasn't amazing at it anyway, and I died, and so then with the nausea, I was like, I'd rather just watch you. That way I can turn away if I need to. So my husband did it, and it was just obnoxious. But he got through that, and then the end credits, the little game with the end credits was dumb. You would get bananas, collect the bananas, and if you ran into something, you'd lose half your bananas. And by the time you get through the whole thing and you have hundreds of bananas, after losing more than you end up with, there was nothing. No reward, nothing. You got this special name for making it through. That was dumb. Do not recommend playing the end game thing. But it was a fun game overall. I would suggest it, especially if you have, 10-year-olds that you want to play it with, if you're kids. It was fun. So that is my across the table drinking coffee overview of Super Monkey Ball.
Alright, and now the wheels are going to determine the next game that we're going to review. The console is going to be the PlayStation 1. So give me a moment, I'm going to move over to that wheel. Let's see here, PlayStation, and start it. And the game that we're going to review next is... Oh, Parappa the Rapper. I hope you guys are looking forward to that one, and we'll see you in the next video.